Welcome to another episode of Quantum Action. Today we've got a special guest for you. We're going to be talking to Ziad Abdelnour. Ziad is the president and founder of Black Hawk Partners, which is a family office based in New York. He's a former Wall Street executive turned entrepreneur and author of a number of books, and his new book is going to be out shortly called Startup Saboteurs. The interview today is about Ziad's new book, and we're going to be talking about a lot of interesting things, some controversial. For example, the truth about venture capitalists, how that works. We're going to talk about draining the financial swamp, it's an interesting one, about the marketing mavens versus the deal makers, about marketing versus executing. We're going to be talking about what to do with your competitors, and I'm going to leave that as a secret for you. You've got to watch the rest of the get into the interview to hear about what he talks and how to tackle the competition. He's got a very unique way of doing that, all about making mistakes, the importance of outsourcing, and lots of other good stuff, including Ziad's vision for the future, 2020 and beyond. So lots of juicy content here. As always with Ziad, he offers a lot of value. The book is an absolutely incredible book. So let's get straight into the interview with Ziad, and off we go. Okay, Ziad, welcome to Quantum Action, and great to have you here to talk about your new book, which I found absolutely fascinating, an excellent book, Startup Saboteurs. So Ziad, let's kick off. Tell us why you wrote the book.
I wrote the book to differentiate the wheat from the chaff. A lot of bullshit out there. A lot of people who tell you how to fund companies by sole theory. Mm-hmm. I've been 30 plus years in the trenches, backing companies, over 128 transactions, $20 billion, from early stage startups to very large established buyouts. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, it's all about people.
Yeah.
It's not about technology and science and industry and geography. It's all about people. And I've developed over the years a knack for vetting the right people. I wrote the book. This book is for entrepreneurs and venture capitalists alike. Venture capitalists who are extremely egotistical. Most of them have never run a company. They just sit on a pot of cash and they pontificate.
Yeah, but in your book, you're very controversial against venture capitalists. Tell us why. Give us a bit of insight. Because some of them are really...
Because most of them are, frankly, incompetent. Mm-hmm. I've seen them. They're very good at raising money. A lot of the private equity funds and venture capitalists are excellent at bullshit and raising money. But when it comes to deal making, they're not that good. They haven't been around. I was saying something before, so this book is both for venture capitalists, and I will come back to your question, and entrepreneurs alike. Entrepreneurs, they all think they're going to be the next Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah. They're not. Mm-hmm. It's not because they don't have the DNA, maybe they do, but they have tremendous ego on both sides, a lot of incompetence on both sides, and a lot of small thinking on both sides. Mm-hmm. There is 4 million private companies in the US. Only 1,000 are backed by venture capitalists. 0.25%. Mm-hmm. What does this mean? This means that somebody's not doing his job right. Mm-hmm. Whether the entrepreneur accessing capital or the venture capitalist providing capital. There's a big swamp there. I call it a financial swamp. Maybe I'm the first one who's quoting it this way. It's like the political swamp. When Trump came to power 3 years ago, there was the swamp, and absolutely there is. Yeah. The same thing in Silicon Valley and Wall Street. There is a financial swamp, whereby very few companies are getting funded, and those who are getting funded are even fewer. And there is a reason. This book is to bridge the gap between those who seek capital and those who provide capital. How do you really access capital? How do you go in the minds of the money people, the venture capitalists? What makes them tick? It's like, when you have a mafia, you have a code of silence. You cannot break the code of silence. If not, you're dead. Well, this is what I'm doing here. I'm breaking the code of silence. How to access capital, how to build multi-billion-dollar businesses, and how to execute, and how to really become like those entrepreneurial icons, Gates, Zuckerberg, Jobs, etc.
Yeah.
It's all from experience. There's no theory in my book. It's all, I've been there, I've done it, I've done my fair share of mistakes, a lot of mistakes, misjudging people, and I think I explain it very thoroughly.
Yeah, you do. So a lot of people that are watching this watch Shark Tank on television, or Dragon's Den as it's called in the UK or in Canada. How much reality is there in that show to the real world out there? I mean, I think it was Mark Cuban said only 60% of the deals that go through on the show actually do go through in real life. And then out of those, only I think 10% succeed. I mean, the questions that are asked, the way people are pitching, I mean, how much reality is there and how much is it just show business?
A lot of it is show business. I would tend to agree with Mark Cuban's numbers.
Yeah.
You see a lot of things. A lot also happens with the guys who are selling you books.
Yeah.
All these guys, like all these entrepreneurs who made their money selling books.
Yeah.
The Tony Robbins, the Gary Vee, etc. Selling ideas, but they have never really worked in that field.
Yeah.
They did their money marketing stuff. They are marketing mavens, but they're not deal makers.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between doing the deals and marketing yourself. A lot of the things in Shark Tank, they think by just appearing on Shark Tank, they made it. They haven't made it. They have made it to basically market their story. But there's a big difference between marketing and executing. A lot of good marketers, whether on the VC side, on the entrepreneurial side, a lot of guys who know how to sell themselves, but it doesn't mean that they're going to be able to execute, because most of the people who sell themselves are prima donnas who think they know it all. But in the business world, after very rough and tumble, not necessarily a prima donna to be able to execute. So there's a fine line between the two. It's a nuance, which a lot of people don't really differentiate from. A lot of people are very good, they look slick, they present well, they say the right things, but when it comes to executing, they cannot execute. And I've seen a lot of them like this.
Yeah. Now, in your book, you say something very interesting. You say to bring in fans, not customers. Can you kind of expand on that idea about developing fans and not customers?
Look, big difference. If you can raise money, it doesn't mean you're successful. If you can push your product on social media, some of them push their product and go viral, 1 million viewers and more. It doesn't mean that they're going to execute. Execution is very different. Execution is really being extremely laser-like focus, extremely detailed, and making decisions in a nanosecond, differentiating the wheat from the sheep. This is a skill, and he's going to win whatever. So it's much more substance than style. Unfortunately today, a lot of people rely on style, how you speak, how you appear, how you look, etc. Don't offend me, you offended my feelings. Real killers don't give a shit if you offend them or not. They're looking for results. And this is what most people today are, very wary of. They have to make sure. But if not, it's like, you're not a nice guy. You're rude. I don't give a shit if I'm rude, but I'm going to make a shitload of money.
Yeah, and also the thing is, the whole concept of the fans is if someone buys your product, uses your product, talks about it on social media, they're a fan because what you've executed actually works and doesn't just look good.
You know, Fabrizio, the best bragging is when people brag about you, not when you brag about yourself.
Exactly.
And most people brag about themselves.
Yeah, very, very true. Now, another interesting concept, you talk about taking your competition for lunch. Now, most people, when they think about the competition, they don't want them to know what they're doing. They stay away. When they see them at a convention or exhibition, they turn in the opposite direction and they try and avoid the competition. But you're actually saying, take your competition out for lunch. Tell us about that.
It comes back to the same subtitle of the book. how ego, incompetence, and small thinking prevent true wealth creation. This is part of the small thinking part.
Yeah.
It's insecurity. It's on the contrary. Take them to lunch. Yes, get to know them. Get to know how they work. You're not stealing or spying on them. You're getting to know. They will learn from you. You will learn from them. It's healthy.
Yeah.
Everybody benefits. Everybody wins. This is not a zero-sum game, even with the competition. It's not. I don't look at things as a zero-sum game.
Yeah.
When you start looking at it as a zero-sum game, things are going to get very bad.
Yeah.
So, yes, absolutely. At the end of the day, you want the universe in what you're doing to be larger. And by killing the competition and stealing away from them, you're not making it larger, but smaller or stable. The larger it is, the better it is. He can do his part, you can do your part, somebody else can do their part. Taking it from $1 trillion market to $20 trillion market. And you can't have one or two groups taking it to $20 trillion market. Right now, for example, an industry I'm betting a lot on, and I'm going to be putting a lot of money in, is the 5G.
Yep.
5G is going to be humongous.
Yeah.
You're talking about trillions and trillions of dollars. We're just starting this worldwide.
Yeah.
That's the big bet. So the more competitors, that's fine. If you can develop this into a $20 trillion market and take a big part of that, that's remarkable.
Yeah. Yeah, you also touch on, and you say how important it is to make mistakes. Now, when you go to school and you get a bad grade, they kind of punish you. Even a lot of kids growing up, if they do something wrong, their parents punish them. And so mistakes are seen as something that you mustn't make. But in your book, you actually say, no, it's really important to make mistakes.
It's extremely important. I made many more mistakes in my life than I can count. I made tons of mistakes. But you never learn from your successes.
Can you tell us, Ziad, can you expand and tell us a story of when you went into a deal, a business situation, and you made a mistake and what you learned from it?
Tons of deals, but I'll give you a few examples. Yeah. Tons of deals.
Yeah.
It's not like one. It's not like it happened right now.
Yeah.
Number one, I bet on the wrong people.
Okay.
Because I was tricked by thinking this is who they are.
Yeah.
I trusted them too early.
Yeah.
Too young. Without really doing my homework. It's my fault.
Yeah.
It's not their fault. This is who they are.
Yeah.
So I bet on the wrong people a number of times.
Yeah,
now I think, I get it 90% of the time. It's never 100%. Yeah. It's never feel cool. Yeah. The second thing, I bet on the wrong debt or equity capital structure.
Okay.
The capital structure of the company. I never go now for little. I go for big, because when you're going for big and you have the right people on board, even if you make a mistake, you have a buffer. You can correct it.
Yeah.
If you don't have enough money, there's no way to correct it.
Yeah.
Number three, I looked at the competition the wrong way. I look at the competition the John D. Rockefeller way, who used to say, and this is, I now disagree with him. I was very impressed by his business acumen, rightly so.
Yeah.
John D. Rockefeller used to say, you don't need competition, you crush it. Which I think today is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I changed my strategy. You don't crush it, because at the end of the day, they can crush you too.
Yeah.
So, but when you have a different rapport with the competition, you will survive and thrive.
Well, especially if you're taking them out for lunch.
Exactly, and dinner, and more.
Yeah, yeah.
So you know what? It's a combination of things. But I would say between the competition, the wrong people, the wrong capital structure, etc. Now I use much more leverage finance in financing these deals.
Yeah.
And less equity. Then, anybody who's gonna debate me to death on valuation, I just drop him. Because I can't compensate people upfront on things they say they're going to do. I mean, a number of factors, Fabrizio. Yeah. But I think this is the essence of it.
Yeah. Now, other thing you talk about is say, stick to your strengths and outsource the rest. Now, we see a lot of, but a lot of startups and that, they want to do everything in-house and that. But you're actually saying, no, just stick to what you're good at and then outsource the rest. How does one go about that?
Absolutely. You can't do everything.
Yeah.
And you can't even have a team that does everything in-house.
Yeah.
You stick to what you do best and try to beat the competition. This book, I'm training people, and in my course also, I'm going to be coming up with a course, how to be the great white shark.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong in that. Because when you become the great white shark, you can eat the sharks at Shark Tank.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
This is real life. This is real life in the trenches. I'm not talking from an academic point of view. Academia.
Yeah.
I don't pontificate. All these guys who pontificate how we should do. No, this is not academia. You have to be absolutely laser-like focused, ruthless, and execute flawlessly. And you can do all that by still being a nice guy. I'm not saying you shouldn't be a nice guy. You should be a nice guy, but very firm about it. And that's my bottom line.
Yeah. So Startup Saboteurs is, as I said at the beginning, it's a great book for anybody starting in business, entrepreneur, or starting their own venture, or wanting to take their company to the next level. Now, we are now started a new decade. We're in 2020. And things are changing. What changes do you see happening in the next 10 years? You mentioned 5G is something you're personally investing in. I mean, what businesses do you think are the future? And also, from a geopolitical standpoint, we've seen a lot of interesting things happen over the last few weeks with Iran and China, with the China deal, with the elections in Taiwan, and lots of stuff happening down in South America, Venezuela. Maybe there's going to be a regime change there. I mean, how do you see all this playing in the future in 2020? And there's people now are so inspired now because it's not only a new year, it's the start of a new decade. And being 2020, and you can think of 2020 vision, it's just one of these years that everybody's sort of ready to go. But as you know, if you're ready to go, but you're ready to go on the wrong track, you're going to hit a brick wall. So what things should people be investing in, and what things should people be watching out for in the next 10 years? Over to you, Ziad.
First, I would say it's a great time to be alive, whether you are an entrepreneur or whether you are a venture capitalist. Great time. The best time in history to be alive. However, obviously, it's a much more complex world out there. And to travel through the maze of challenges out there, that's going to be pretty tricky. Number one, never bet against the United States. And everybody who bet against the United States lost. Because at the end of the day, we are the most relentless people out there. That's number one. So the way I look at it is, at the end of the day, you're going to be able to know who you are before you engage in anything. A lot of people don't even know who they really are.
Yeah.
What is your DNA? A lot of them fool themselves. They want to be like this or they want to be like that.
Yeah, they want to be like other people. Yeah, and they don't realize they have to look on their own strengths.
They want to be like a big icon. They want to be like this. They want to be... No, who you really are. A lot of people don't. First thing, to conquer the world and to build a real company, you have to know who you really are, what your strengths are, without fooling yourself.
Yeah, of course.
Without cheating yourself. A lot of people do fool themselves.
Yeah. Because
their friends tell them this and that, or their parents tell them this and that. Like, with all due respect, all this millennial generation.
Yeah.
You know, they were raised thinking that their parents telling them, you're so special, you're so great, you're so unique. So now they've become into this thing of entitlement, that I'm so special, I want to do this and that. No, and they haven't really discovered who they really are. Your parent, your father can be a super smart entrepreneur, and it doesn't mean that you're going to be one. It doesn't mean that you have the genes to be one. So number one, know yourself.
Also, Ziad, I'll add to that, and you did touch on this earlier in our interview, the people going to all these success seminars, sales seminars, whatever, and the guy on stage is just trying to sell you his courses and
exactly. That's what I'm saying. He's selling you his books, his brand.
Not everybody's cut out to be an entrepreneur or a business person or Richard Branson or Donald Trump.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So all these guys, they go attending this seminar, these conferences, these events where they exchange cards, and they don't even follow up on that. Yeah. You know, they have a stack of cards. They don't even follow up on that. That's a waste of time.
Well, we've got a guy in the UK who you may have heard of that does this big seminar in a castle, and he only has a small number of people, and he swears at them for 7 days, and some of them, you know, leave the course, some stay on, and then he coaches them for 12 months. But at the end of the day, when you look at these people, you can quite see out of 25, probably only 2 or 3 of them have what it takes, and the guy's just taking the money from the other 22 people.
Absolutely. And using them as suckers. Tons of things happen every day. Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So number one, you are. Number two, okay, other than that, and then we talk about the challenges, Russia challenge, geopolitics, but this is the core.
Yeah.
Number two, surround yourself with people who basically are pretty much complement who you are. You know, at the end of the day, there are 3 things, and I say it again and again, that matter to me. It doesn't matter your education, your background, your nationality, your religion, your beliefs. This is all for the birds. When you really want to dissect somebody within the next 5 minutes and know exactly who he is, I look at 3 things. Number one, guts. I deal with people who have brass balls, who are extremely aggressive. Mm-hmm. Not people who are going to pull you down when the shit hits the fan. Not people like, oh, Fabrizio, calm down, it's okay, it's going to be okay, God is great, you know, somebody will help. No, that doesn't work like that. Number 2, brains. Mm-hmm. If you have the guts and no brains, you're a loose cannon. If you have the brains and no guts, you're a bureaucrat. There are tons of them occupying the skyscrapers in Manhattan. People who punch numbers, they have no guts. The guts, the brains, and number 3, the compassion, the heart, connecting with people. Mm-hmm. It's all about people. Whoever runs a company thinks it's all about people. If you're bad with people, you're not going to go very far. If you know how to connect people, understand people, empower people, inspire people. This book is all about empowering and inspiring people. Mm-hmm. I didn't write the book to make money. Not really. I make the book to basically empower a lot of people to create wealth. Yeah. Because this is the ultimate legacy that you can leave by creating leaders and creating people who are going to be self-sustaining cash flow machine. This is the ultimate power. This is where it resides. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have to think like this. A lot of people think, oh, I'm doing this to make money. You will never make money if this is your thought. You will make money by finding solutions, how you're going to make other people, the right ones, money. That's how we're going to create wealth. It's all about wealth creation. And this is how wealth creation works. And to have wealth creation, you have to have a very open mind and you have to be very astute, smart, and shrewd on recognizing and vetting and empowering the right people. So otherwise, you know yourself, you have to surround yourself with the fortress of people who think like this, who are willing to work with you on building that. You and I, for example, since day one, we've hit it very well. We think exactly like this. The best definition of a partner is when I start a sentence, he can finish it. And I think I can do this with you. Yeah. And this is the kind of people I really like to work with. If I have to explain it to him all the time, he doesn't get it. And sometimes they're going to resent me for this. They're going to say, who the hell do you think you are? I do not think I'm anything. I'm just telling you because I want you to be successful. Mm-hmm. That's it. Why? Because I love to have the world surrounded with people like this. It will be for a different world. It will change the world. It will change things. So how do you change the world? You don't change the world by saying, I want to change the world. You change the world by changing yourself, And by empowering the people around you to think like this, then it's a multiplier force. 1 + 1 is not equal to 2 anymore. It's equal to 10 and 20 and 50.
Yeah.
This is how you create an impact.
Yeah, the whole concept of going quantum. People talk about 10x your business. Quantum is
why we're doing this show.
Yeah, exactly. Quantum action. This is what it's all about. This is exactly what your book does. Is it teaches people to go quantum.
Action. So to come back to the geopolitics. Okay, now that we've defined this foundation. This is a foundation. Without that, dreaming.
Yeah.
The geopolitics. Now, a lot of the people in the United States think like this, and also outside the US. You have to reach out to those people. The more you empower people like this, the less revolutions you're going to have, the less wars you're going to have, the less friction you're going to have. People who don't get this, look, how do you acquire power? In the US, that's how you acquire power. In other countries, you acquire power by going and taking over a regime and clipping people's wings, putting them under their control. This, in the long run, talking about socialism, communism, etc., this in the long run is not going to work. Doesn't work. What works is what I'm talking right now. This is what works.
Ziad, just to connect what you said earlier about 5G, the reason why you're investing in 5G is we have another 2 billion people coming online. So these regimes aren't going to be able to control them because they're going to be able to find out the truth.
Exactly. You totally get it. That's exact. So everything I do from a geopolitical point of view has business connotation. Exactly right. This is the point. Do good, invest smart, empower people, inspire people to think like that. Look, at the end of the day, I want to create an army of Ziads. Thousands and thousands of people, whether they are Chinese, Indians, Russians, Americans, Italians, it doesn't matter. This is how you create wealth. You basically bring back power in the hands of people. Governments at large don't have solutions. They are seeking power, not solutions. They want to stay in power. The way you basically take over that power is by following what I'm telling you right now. Because you're gonna have them feel irrelevant. Yeah, they'll always be relevant for the basic services like police, like money, like roads, infrastructure. They have to do that. But you know what? That's the extent of it. Bring back power to the people. Ayn Rand is my big hero. Ayn Rand philosophy, individualism, objectivism, capitalism, bring power to the people. So all what I do in business, in life, is following that. Yeah. It's very strategic. It's not just tactical. I look for a company, okay, this is interesting. I look at who's going to build the company, how he's going to do it, why is he doing it, what really motivates him. It's very important. You know, finance is not just about knowing finance and balance sheet. It's also a lot about psychology. And this is how you really do, this is how you really position yourself in doing the right thing. So what's happening in the world, frankly, it doesn't matter what's happening in the world because there are some things you control and some things you cannot control.
Yeah.
I never get pissed off of the things I cannot control because they're not my control. But I get pissed off of things that I can control and that I cannot do anything about.
Yeah. So what you're saying basically is let's just focus on what we can do, not worry about what Donald Trump is doing or Brexit is happening or not here in the UK or China or Iran. Doesn't really matter.
Exactly. Because you can do anything about it. I mean, you can do anything about it. Focus on the things you can do best and try to amplify your inner circle. Because the more people who think like you, who work with you, who execute with you, the more impact you're going to have. Give an example. Look at the last presidential elections, 2016. There were only 128 PACs and families who bankrolled these elections. So you're talking about 128 people or groups bankrolling over $1.5 billion, $2 billion to change the face of America. Now think about if you have an army of 5,000 or 10,000 people instead of 128 who can do that with the brains, with the guts, with the resources to work with you and do that. You are a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Nothing stops you. You can change the order of things. As Niccolo Machiavelli used to say, one of the most challenging things in the world is to be able to change the order of things. You want to change the order of things, you're not going to do it by yourself because, oh, I want to change the world like all these naive millennial or other, I'm going to change the world, etc. You can't change the world without changing yourself, without creating this movement. This book is about, what I'm calling for, is creating a movement. On February 20th, I'm going to have an event for my book signing event, my first book signing event, Fabrizio, in New York, where I'm going to have an event. The theme of the event is a debate between socialism and capitalism. I'm bringing in two socialist speakers, two capitalist speakers, to debate the issue.
Oh, wow.
There will be a moderator, and I'm going to be the keynote speaker.
Okay.
This is how you kick off 2020.
Yeah.
This is going to be the debate of the decade, capitalism versus socialism. And then I introduce my book, Startup Saboteurs, as the tool to really create that wealth. This is a war. Capitalism is under siege. What do we do about it? We have to be aware of it, and we have to bring in the resources to be able to fight over this. We need President Trump to be re-elected.
Yeah.
We need another 4 or 5 years of that to undo all what has been done and to really start on this capitalism bandwagon, empowering people, inspiring people, and creating wealth and changing the world. This is how you change the world, not by writing blogs and op-eds and giving your opinion on social media. This is for the birds, but by absolutely executing ruthlessly, flawlessly, and with the right people.
So, Ziad, if anybody that's watching this wants to come to your event or watch your event on the 20th of February in New York, where do they have to go to find out the location and everything?
They can go to my social media.
Yep.
The event will be very much publicized there. You know, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube channel, everybody. And, you know, they can find me there. The event will be publicized starting next week with all the details. We're going to be doing it at Lincoln Center. We expect around 500 people there. And this is how we're going to kickstart the year.
I gather you're going to have it filmed and put on social media as well.
Of course.
Yeah.
Films, video, photo, ops, everything.
Okay, very, very good. Okay, Ziad, great as always. Great insights there for the people watching Quantum Action today. Thank you very much. Is there a last message you want to send out there before I let you go?
Go buy a copy of my book. It's not just because I want to sell you copies, because I want you to start thinking like this. What I give you right here is a sample of how I think. I'm calling for a revolution, a movement in the terms of wealth creation. I'm not talking about politics. This is not politics. I'm not being a politician. I'm not interested in politics. This is about a revolution, draining the financial swamp, putting the incompetent and the egomaniacs out of business, and creating a real movement to make real money. Don't be impressed by these shows, shit shows, Shark Tanks, this and that. This is all show business. I'm going to give you the real thing, from somebody who's been in the trenches for 30 years and who backed a lot of entrepreneurs. I'm not pontificating. Fabrizio, you read the book. There's not 1 ounce of bullshit in this book. You may be pissed off at some of the things in the book because it is very controversial, but these are the facts. This is truth, and this is what matters. Thank you very much.
And I can surely testify to that, having read the book. It's a great book. It does exactly what Ziad says. So if you are in the space, you're starting a business or you want to take your business to the next level, Startup Saboteurs is a must read. And I would say not a read, but a textbook to read over and over again, because it will avoid you making certain mistakes and point you in the right direction to success with all the opportunities that are going to be out there in the next 10 years and beyond. This will definitely set your mindset right, which I think is get your strategy right before you go out there and start rolling. Thank you, Ziad, very much, and we'll see you again soon. And I wish you good luck with the book. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. Thanks.
Okay. Well, I did tell you you're up for a treat. It was great information there from Ziad. I encourage you to get a copy of his book, Startup Saboteurs. Click on the link below, find out where to go to get a copy of Ziad's book, and also where to go to find out about how you can get a ticket to go to his event on the 20th of February, where he's doing his book launch in New York. So great information. And if you haven't already subscribed to Quantum Action, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel. Give us a thumbs up. Comment below if you have any suggestions on books you'd like us to review, or suggestions for people to interview and things like that. We're here. The whole purpose of the channel is to educate people on how to take quantum action. So that's all really from Fabrizio Poli here on Quantum Action. It's now down to you to take what we talked about today, put it into practice, execute, and take quantum action.